Okay, in this game we're going to be watching a Wraith King who's been reported for griefing. It's almost 15 minutes into the game, and the Radiant team with an Invoker, Spirit Breaker, Terrorblade, Enigma, and Sand King have about a 1,000 gold lead. On Team Dire, we've got the Wraith King in question, a Crystal Maiden, Huskar, Sven, and Pudge. We're watching the bottom lane. This is the first marked part of this video, and we're watching a Pudge who's just hooked a Spirit Breaker. I'm going to start in free camera. I'm going to go on 1.5 times speed, and if I need to, I'll play things back in player perspective. So Pudge has hooked the Spirit Breaker, and it looks like Spirit Breaker gets away using his charge. It's unclear why this part of the game has been marked for me to look at. It could be that the Pudge or Team Dire rather were kind of annoyed that Wraith King didn't come down and contribute when Pudge got that hook. Or it could be that they were annoyed that the Wraith King dies here, but neither of those seem like they're reportable offenses. I am kind of perplexed by the Mask of Madness item choice, given that Wraith King, if they wanted lifesteal, could max out Vampiric Spirit, and that I don't see very many Masks of Madness built this patch, but I'm not willing to have somebody be considered a Griefer because of an item choice that they've made. This part of the game isn't marked, so let's go into Hero Chase, watch the Wraith King, and we'll wait until we get to we're going 8 times speed, and we're going to wait until we get to the next marked part of the match. All of this is fairly standard. The Wraith King's farming. In terms of the rank average of this game, I've got Dota Plus open in another window. I can see that one of the players in this game has recently played in a Legend average match, and another one of the players has recently played in a Crusader average match, but that's all the information that I've got about rank. Looks like Wraith King's farming, pushing out lanes. They've built an armlet. They aren't really contributing to any fights, but that's okay. They are going to buy the Tome of Knowledge. I've been seeing this in a few Overwatch cases where the person that's been reported for griefing will end up hogging all of the tomes. That can sometimes be a bit of a grief, but it could also just be that the Wraith King is a low-skilled player maybe, or somebody that has a very greedy playstyle. There are a bunch of explanations, and I don't think just buying tomes is enough information for me to report them for griefing. We're going to go back a little bit. This is the next marked part of the game. We'll go a little bit before the marker because sometimes people put their markers, or the system puts the marker after the part of the game where they're griefing, and we'll go back into free camera. Let's see what's going on. Looks like there was just a team fight. We'll go back a little bit further. In the Dire Triangle, where Enigma gets a massive black hole into Meteorite Deafening Blast combo. I'm guessing that Team Dire were kind of annoyed that their Wraith King wasn't down joining them in that fight. But to be perfectly honest, I understand why they might want to farm. I think this is maybe something which would frustrate the Dire team, but it's not enough information for me to say that they're intentionally griefing the game. This part is still marked. I'm going to go into 2 times speed to speed things up. Looks like we've got a Maelstrom Diffusal Blade Terrorblade pushing in mid. Wraith King is going to clear this. They're going to clear the Eidolons. We've got our Crystal Maiden with Blightstone and a Hand of Midas. Who's going to Midas a creep, it looked like, that Wraith King's farming. Which is fine. And let's skip through a little bit. We'll go back onto Hero Chase. And we'll speed it up to 16 times. They're just farming, shoving out lanes, shoving out top, running back through the jungle. A TP bot to get farm. They're a little bit AFK, but again, that's not sufficient, I believe, for them to be considered a griefer. Griefing is more like dropping items, using tiny toss to grief your teammates' positioning, running down a lane. Playing badly or playing inactive don't seem to be things that I'm comfortable reporting for. This is the part of the game where the Wraith King is also being reported for griefing. Looks like another fight might be breaking out at mid. Let's see what happens. Somebody on Team Radiant did ping the triangle. Huskar is going to jump in and targets the Enigma to stop Black Hole, but unfortunately does not get it killed. Dies in the process. Invoker looks like they're going to get out. Wraith King is going back for a Radiance. Looks like they're going to jump in towards the Invoker. They end up killing the Invoker. Spirit Breaker charges in. Crystal Maiden ults. Wraith Fire Blast on the Spirit Breaker doesn't stop the charge. Sand King on the back line jumps in with ulti and gets a kill. None of that really seemed to be griefing. It just looked like a team fight that maybe Team Dire was unhappy with. Let's keep going. 4 times speed. Looks like they've TP'd to the bottom lane. They've got their Radiance. They've used another Tome. It's a little bit of a greedy play. They're blinking into the tree line to be safe. We're going to run back towards mid. Walk through an ice path. This part of the game, let's go into Hero Chase. They've been reported for griefing. Looks like there's a fight going on nearby them. There's a black hole. They run in to kill the Sand King. They throw a Wraith Fire Blast at the Spirit Breaker. Looks like they're going to kill the Enigma with Radiance damage. Invoker gets a Tornado off. Looks like the Invoker escapes, but Terrorblade's gone back in. Terrorblade tries to sunder but doesn't get it off. Sand King comes in with a very late Burrow Strike Epicenter and ends up dying to the Wraith King, maybe? No! Invoker with the Deafening Blast picks off the Wraith King. Again, this part of the game, the Wraith King was reported for griefing, but none of that seemed like it was intentionally griefing. Let's skip through this. Wraith King is obviously dead. They might have to buy back soon. Let's see what happens on Team Radiant. Wraith King's back in the game. They're going to push out mid. Drop their skeletons. Clear the camps. Sim's going to Midas. Sven's going to get annoyed. They're getting pinged a bunch. They get charged at. They use their BKB. Pudge misses a hook. And they're going to go into base. And that's the end of... Was that the end of the video? Yep, that's end of suspicious activity. Okay, so there's a few things that were kind of suspicious about that game. Firstly, this Wraith King seemed to be an offlane Wraith King, but they were playing like a position 1. They had a weird item build. They kept buying Tomes of Knowledge. They were a little bit AFK. And at the end here, they've run back into their fountain. And they aren't really doing anything constructive, although it's kind of hard with 3 members of the team down. Do I think this player is intentionally griefing? Nothing that I've seen fits any of this description of griefing. There was no intentional ability abuse, no feeding kills to the enemy, no dropping or feeding items, nothing of the sort. Maybe they played a little bit poorly, sure, but I'm not even going to say insufficient evidence. I'm going to go straight for not guilty. Same for cheating, hacking, and scripting. So that's my verdict.